Everybody, it's Jason Cruz with MMA Payouts, the interview. Today we talk with Eric Alequin. I got it right? Okay, awesome. He is fighting January 27th, not too far off from today, against Thad Jean in PFL Challenger Series 9 out of Orlando, Florida. Eric, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. A little tired from training.
Yeah,
Other than
gotcha.
that, feeling good.
Now, I have you down as fighting out of West Palm Beach, Florida. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Which gym are you with down there?
I live in West Palm, but I train down south in Deerfield with Killcliff Fight Team.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That's the Deerfield, Florida.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm not familiar too. I'm from on the other side of the country, so I'm not too familiar with it. But how has this fight camp been for you?
It's been good. Been hitting all my numbers, good numbers. Very focused training sessions, setting goals every training session, and hitting those goals.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself. Are you originally from West Palm Beach?
Yes, sir. Born and
Okay.
raised here.
Excellent. How did you? So it looks like you had a grappling background. How did you get into MMA?
So I was in high school. I was a senior in high school at the time. I was playing some football. Um, didn't have great grades at the time. So after high school, one of my friends is like, "Oh man!" At the time, Randy Couture was popular. He's like, "Let's do this MMA stuff." So we go check out a couple gyms. I landed at Team Noguera, hit it off with the instructor initially, and I told him I wanted to be an MMA fighter, and he told me, "Well, you need great jujitsu first." So he really directed me to get high level jujitsu.
Excellent. And so as you transitioned into MMA, what do you think was the biggest challenge of getting into the mindset of MMA? Was it wrestling? Was it boxing or striking? Obviously, you had were grounded in jujitsu. So, what do you think was the biggest challenge for you?
I would say mostly the trauma to the body. So jujitsu, even though it's not so gentle at times, as far as like just MMA is just that nitty gritty grind. So I would say that was the biggest thing. I was training striking at the time, but I was mainly focused on jujitsu. So I was competing jujitsu, but I'd still train kickboxing, spar some kickboxing. But the biggest thing was fully transitioning to MMA, just that clash.
Yeah. It seems like that's for a lot of people. It seems like that is the biggest challenge. But as far as your transition, it's gone well. You're undefeated as an MMA fighter. It looks great. Looks great. How did you get approached by the PFL to do this Challenger Series?
They reached out to my manager. My
Nice.
manager reached out to me, and he's like, "You want to do it?" And I actually went to the last finale because my teammate was in the finale.
Who's your teammate?
Watched the event, Delano Taylor.
Oh, okay, excellent. Yes.
Unfortunately, he didn't get the win, but the kid's 25 years old, was in the finale. Big things coming for him.
Excellent. And so how was it? Did you help him train for that November finale, or at least what did you what have you gained from just being around him helping him train?
Just his focus, man, especially for his age, just laser beam focus for someone at that age. I actually told him like I admire, so I kind of learned from him, even though I'm older than him. I'm watching him, learning from him. We didn't train much for that camp because he was fighting a real lanky kickboxer, so he was sparring a lot of lankier guys. But we're always in the gym together.
Awesome. And so tell me a little bit about your year in 2022. You won a fight early in the spring of 2022, and it looks like you had a fight canceled. Tell me a little bit about what you've been doing up until this past fight camp.
Yeah, so I believe that fight was supposed to be in July,
July, yep.
and about a week and a half prior, I tore my hamstring, which sucked.
Oh,
Took a couple months to recover, and then just stayed in the gym, kind of dial it. So I'm going, keeping slowly climbing, and as we sign the fight, then the notch turns up. We start to kick in the intensity.
excellent. And I assume the hamstring's fine. Obviously, you wouldn't tell me if it wasn't,
Yes,
but
yes, yes, yes. I'm
excellent.
injury free.
Excellent, excellent. Now, tell me a little bit about your training strategy as far as getting ready for this fight. Do you know anything about your opponent, Thad Gene, or does that even really matter as far as how your mindset goes into this fight?
I I don't do too much game planning and focusing on the other opponent just because I could watch a fight from someone and they could be a completely different fighter the next time I see them. So I feel like a lot of guys get so sucked into that. Oh, well, this guy does this, and then you come into the fight, he does something completely different. I just been having my own goals to dominate in every scenario. That's our motto: dominate the fight everywhere, wherever it goes. We want to dominate.
Excellent. And how far off did you get training for this fight? I mean, did you do a no a 2 month fight camp? Was it three? I mean, a little
I
longer.
believe I believe they told me about 6, 7 weeks
Okay.
out. It was, yeah.
Okay. So I mean, you were able to do a normal fight camp.
Yes.
At this point right now, are you kind of ramping it down, or are you still in the throes of it? I mean, the fight's 27th, but yeah.
Not just yet. We're still kind of climbing, pushing, hitting certain numbers that we've set out to hit. Really, we want to keep the intensity level high, maybe prior to a week out. Then we start to just focus training, keeping everything safe.
So you've been through this about 7 times. You actually have also been doing grappling tournaments. But what is your feel going into a fight week? Do you like hanging out with your team? Do you want to just kind of be a person of solitude? What's your mental game going into fight week?
I'm definitely leaning more towards the solitude side. If I'm around other fighters who knows what's going on,
Yeah.
I can hang out with those guys. But other people that they just never been in that scenario, that we can't kind of relate in that sense. So
Yeah.
I'm either alone or I'm with my very close teammates.
Is MMA preparation, like preparation week, is that similar to how grappling tournaments are, or is grappling, because of the tournament style that they do, different as in preparation?
So it's different in a sense where typically grappling, you're going to weigh in and fight the same day. So you're not going to be cutting as much weight, not nearly as much. Hopefully not. And just really I would say the weight cut and fighting and weighing in the same day is big difference
Do you
there.
find it beneficial to weigh in the same day, or does it not? Is it because of MMA? Just you're doing one fight, it's okay to replenish.
That's a good point. So I like grappling in a sense where you're going to be fighting closer to your weight. So certain guys in MMA are cutting massive amounts of weight to fight in a certain weight class versus jujitsu. I mean, you can cut tons of weight, but your performance is going to dip. But I think MMA is easier in a sense where I got one match, one guy, I know who it is. On a jiu-jitsu tournament, I've had 6 matches. I don't know who these guys are. I don't know who I'm fighting. So I think that's definitely built some mental toughness in my mind, just having so many jiu-jitsu matches.
Yeah, and obviously with the you don't know how long you're going to have to wait in between, or if you so
Yes.
obviously that's a little more of a mental and physical, because if you get torn up or hurt in a you don't there's not a lot of time to, or maybe there is, to get ready. Obviously, MMA is a grind in itself, and it's probably hard to do more than one fight in in the night. Although
For
people have done
sure, for sure.
so what is the plan, Eric? After this, we hope the best for you. Do you see yourself progressing with the PFL challengers? How was this kind of promised to you as far as getting into this?
I see myself getting into the season. That's the goal. Get into season, get in the playoffs, and win that $1 million. You know, I was sitting there right there last November, so I kind of got a chance to experience that, get a little closer to that feeling. That's the goal. I like PFL. I like how they've been treating me. I like that the owner was a former fighter himself, so he knows what it's like being a fighter. And I recently saw that Jake Paul is signed to PFL, so I'm sure that's going to bring a lot of eyes to that specific event.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, most definitely. I forgot that Jake. I forgot, but yeah, this last week he is a part of the PFL. So maybe he calls you out someday on
Hey,
social
let's get
media.
it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Eric, thank you so much for your time. PFL Challengers 9 takes place Friday, January 27th. January 27th.
Yep. Yes,
Uh,
sir.
you face that, Gene, welterweight matchup. We wish you good health going into the fight and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Eric,
Pleasure.
thank you much for your time. We will be watching.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one. Thank you very much.